Right, looks like we're live. Just check my audio. Okay, we are live. Let's do this. Today we got a subject to deal. Right, looks like we're live. Just check. So, sub to deal simply means that we are taking over this existing loan subject to the existing financing. So, this property is a 3-bed, 2-bath that just got posted, 1,036 square feet, cash to close. Seems like a pretty low entry. You think about it, probably because the purchase price is probably going to be really low. So 12.2K to close, plus another $1,000 for TC, probably some more closing costs for title, $2,200 to the seller, and $10,000 signing fee for the wholesaler. Remaining mortgage on this property is $112,000. It's at a 2.25% interest rate, which is really great. The PITI is $926.78. Taxes and insurance $472.22, and there's an AC balance. I'm assuming there's an air conditioner loan that was taken out to put in place. It says right here the long-term rental rate is $1,300 a month. Okay, let's go through the process. Put up all the stuff. First thing we'll do is we'll just take a quick look at the. Here, let me get my spreadsheets ready too at the same time. Let me get my spreadsheets ready. This was a spreadsheet from yesterday for those that still recognize it. Let's look at the condition of the property. Flooring looks great. It's a See, this is weird. It's like the tile's different right here compared to the shower tile. Okay. I'm not sure what kind of rehab they did on this one. So they just try to redo the flooring here. Looks like the shop vac is over there. Is that a hole in the wall ceiling? A hole in the ceiling here. Not sure what's going on there, but it's going to be good to pay attention to that. This looks like a full bathroom remodel. Not sure what's going on here, but it seems like they were just digging a hole in the wall or the tile. Because that doesn't look like it was cut real well. It's like someone just gave up on it. Or someone punched a wall. I don't know. Look out for some moisture damage up here. I'm not sure why it's discolored up here. So just pay attention there. Might be some roof issues here, I'm assuming. Okay. But overall, cosmetically, doesn't look that bad. All right, this property was listed for $129,900. So let me go ahead and just plug that one in. Let me save this spreadsheet as a brand new file. Today's date is 2/6. All right, let's look at the details here. So this property, cash to close, 12.2, $2,200 to the seller. Let's plug in right here. $2,200 to the seller, $10,000 for assignment fee. The remaining mortgage is $112,753. $112,753.43. And again, if you want to see the full screen version, you guys can take a quick look at the YouTube channel on youtube.com/@Kent_HE. Now, this is a VA loan. So I'm going to back into my property tax in those amounts by simply going to property taxes, going to 926.78 minus the sub to principal minus the sub to interest, and that's going to result in the taxes and insurance. I'm going to add another $35 to the insurance because I'm assuming the person that was living there was a primary residence, which in this case is going to be turned into an investment property for my purpose. So I'm going to assume that the insurance is going to cost a little bit more, probably about like $35 a month, to rent out the place. Just increasing expenses because it's obviously just common sense, right? So from that point onwards, we are going to have some renovations. Now, based on what we saw in the photo so far, I'm going to assume that there's something going on with the roof. I'm going to put in $3,000 for the roof because it seems like some of the pictures that we had looked like there was some holes above the laundry room, like right here. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe there was a prior leak that never got fixed. But something that I want to pay attention to. I got $500 for maintaining the yard. And then I got my interior painting, and this is 1,036 square feet to paint the place. I'm assuming all the floors are okay, but I am going to assume I'm going to remodel one of the bathrooms for $8,000 because I saw some holes in the wall. Not sure what's going on there, so I'm gonna be conservative and put aside $8,000, and that leaves me at a total rehab of about $17,000 with some contingency. Probably overestimating, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. All right. The whole point is for me to figure out when it's worth my time. Now, next step is we're going to figure out what the fair market rents are because we need to figure out what the ceiling rents are. So the first thing I'm going to do is Google HUD FMR. When you Google HUD FMR, you can go to fair market rents, go down to the small area FMR, click on look up FY 2024 FMR, and we're going to Texas. County. This is in Matagorda, right? Let me double check. County Matagorda. All right, let's see if that shows up. Matagorda. Now you see why it did not show up. It did not show up probably because it's not considered as a small area FMR, which means that they don't have the zip code listed out. This county might not be big enough for them to separate it by zip codes, so we can assume that they're going to follow the payment standards or the FMR for the entire county. So in order to get back there, instead of going down and clicking access small area FMR, you're just going to come up here and click on FY 2024 FMR. This is going to give you the county level rent, which is going to be Matagorda. When you click on this, now you see how it does not break out the fair market rent by bedroom count, by zip code, right? This is the bigger difference, right? If you do not see that level of granularity by zip code, then what I would do is back up a step, click on just the county, and then find fair market rents or the FMR by county by bedroom count. So in this scenario, what we care most about is this number right here, 1484. So for 1484, this is the 3-bedroom in Matagorda County. This is not by zip code. Matagorda County. That's going to be good to know. Then we're going to get the rents for the 3-bedroom rents. We're going to go to affordablehousing.com, owner section, market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in the bedroom count. And the number we're going to care most about here is this number on the far right. It says right here that within a 6.87 mile radius for 22 units, the market rent is $1,167. Okay, so I'm going to write that one down, $1,167, $1,260 for the county. And this is a 6.87 mile radius. Now you can see how rural this is, right? It had no rentals in the city and zip breakdown. It only had at a county level because there's only 39 units that are apparently available for rent that this website can find. And within a 6.87 mile radius, you had to go pretty far wide for just 20 units. If you remember what we've been underwriting very commonly for the past couple of weeks, normally we see radius within like 1 or 2 mile radiuses. And that's how they've been able to get 22, 25 units. We do not see that here. All right. So now that we have our fair market rent and we have our market rents, we are going to take the lower of the two. Even though the ceiling here says 1484, there's a test that's called the rent reasonableness test. And the rent reasonableness test says that you cannot charge more rent than what the market deemed is reasonable, which means that if everybody is paying $1,167 on average for rent, you cannot charge $1,484 simply because there are voucher holders for the obvious reasons. So we're going to underwrite this property, assuming, let's just say $1,175, just to kind of give it a slight low boost because we're going to do some renovations. $1,175. All right. We have our principal interest and we got our monthly taxes and insurance, right? Because we already put that in early when we calculated it together. We have 10% set aside for maintenance every single month. We got 8% for property management. I'm going to bump this up to 10% because this is pretty out there and I'm not sure we're going to get a good property manager for 8%. I'm going to have to leave the vacancy at 5% because I don't really know this area. But when I looked up on tophap.com and I'm trying to get the crime score here, if you go to the neighborhood section in the crime score, you will see that right here, the crime score for this property is about a 60, well below the national average of 100. That makes me feel pretty good about the property, right? The crime score is not really that high. The street looks pretty rural. You're not really anywhere. Kind of a lot of land out here. Everyone just doing their own thing. Yeah, it's pretty out there. So I'm not surprised that there's no crime out here. All right. So with that being said, what are my current scenarios? So using the current assumptions right now, and I didn't even plug in the AC loan, which is another $3,000 because I didn't get the payment. But I'm just trying to figure out if it was worth my time to investigate any further. At its current criteria, assuming those assumptions, this is a negative $80 cash flow a month. So if my rent is $11.75, I'm going to cash flow negative $80 a month, and my cash and cash return is 2.9%. And I was assuming a purchase price of $129,900 with a $17,500 rehab. Now you could say, well, what if I actually got up there to $1,484? $1,484. Just do a $1,450, huh? Well, if I did get this property at $1,450, which is not realistic, like what we said, well, my cash flow will be $125 a month, and that would result in a 4.6% cash and cash return. $129,900. And I was assuming $17,500 rehab. As you can see right here, I'm trying to prove to myself what would make this a deal. And looking at my best case scenario using the fair market rents as a ceiling, even though I'm going to get $1,450, this is still not a deal because it's only a 4.6% cash and cash return. See what happened there? This is not a deal for my personal criteria. Now, obviously, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments from anybody. I'm simply showing you all the work that I'm doing every single day to evaluate the deals and determine whether or not something is worth my time to investigate further. Because if this was a deal and it was at least like 10%, because my criteria is 15% personally, then it might be worth my time to say, hey, let me send somebody out there, give me a better bid as a contractor so that I can decide whether or not I should buy the deal. In this scenario, it is not worth it because that's not enough. The juice is not worth to squeeze. Well, I'm going to spend all of my time, all my energy to just cash flow $125 for 4.6% return. And this is my best case scenario. In reality, I really think that this is a losing deal because sometimes folks, they might go ahead and market these deals and say, hey, this is a X% return. As you can see right here, this person marketed a deal assuming that the long-term rental rate is $1,300 and that the monthly cash flow is going to be $373 with a 36% cash and cash return. Is that misleading? That's for you to decide. Because everybody sometimes calculates cash and cash a little bit differently. In my opinion, you have to set aside money every single month for maintenance. You have to set aside money for property management. Even if you're managing yourself, if you don't set aside and underwrite to deal with property management, you're essentially buying yourself another job, which is not what most people got into real estate for. People get into real estate for financial freedom of time, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't underwrite with property management in place, then you will never be able to exit the deal because you might turn this deal into a loser, right? And you got to have some vacancy expenses. Someone has to move out of your apartment every single, is there the exception where people stay for 15, 20, 30 years? Yeah. But most of the time, people don't stay there forever. So you got to underwrite with some vacancy expense. So in my opinion, about 25% of the rent does not belong to you. And sometimes that is the delta right away of how the person markets a deal to say, hey, this is a 36% return to when I underwrote it using $11.75 as a rent. This is now a negative $80 cash flow. Complete opposite. Big swing in terms of numbers. So pay attention, learn how to underwrite. Don't buy losing deals, because if you buy a losing deal, chances are you're probably going to quit and you're never going to keep going with real estate. And this is the part that a lot of people don't understand or realize with real estate. Underwriting a deal is the implied work of real estate investing. You have to learn how to spot a deal and decide whether or not it's worth your time and the risk to invest in something. And that's for you personally to decide. What I do this every day for is simply for you to copy my homework That's it. That's the best analogy I can use. If you underwrite this deal tomorrow using the same deal, same details, same spreadsheet, put it on your own YouTube channel. And if you guys want to stream just like I am, I got a referral link for OneStream, which is a software I use. Click that to support the channel. I would really appreciate it. But you can go live every single day, just like I'm doing. And all of a sudden, you would gain significant confidence in your ability to analyze deals so that you can pull the trigger when the time comes. And then on top of that, you can tell a partner when they ask you, hey, why do you think this is a deal? Well, you can point them to your own YouTube channel where you have been going live for X number of days. And from that point onwards, they will believe you because you have been showing that you've been consistently analyzing deals every single day. In order for us to buy 1,000 deals, you probably have to analyze 10x that amount. I'm not sure everyone wants to buy 1,000 single families. That's certainly not my goal. But this is one of the steps that you have to take every single day. And if you, thank you. That is the most important part. So if you want and you're going live, please use my referral link, but tag me in your stories on Instagram and I'll reshare it. I know how hard it is to create a following. I know how hard it is to go live every single day. But this is why we have this community. This is why we have the affordable housing real estate community where we invest together, we analyze deals together, and we do this together so that it's a little bit less lonely for all of us. So thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Thank you so much for staying consistent with me. This is day 129, if you can even believe it. My original goal was to only go live for 100 days. But I figured, why stop? Why not be an example of consistency and discipline? And it's so much easier when you do it with so many others. So send me some deals. Let's analyze these deals together. I have a few folks that want to analyze a deal live with me in the next couple of days. So I'll bring them on to the live too. And we're just going to have some fun. All right. Have an amazing day. Spend some quality time with your family and friends today. And we will be back here again tomorrow. Have an amazing day, everybody.